for letting us share our experience. And yeah, have your machine call our machine, and we'd love to come back and talk to more.
Okay, great.
Thank you so much for everything. Just thank you so much.
Well, thank you for coming on again. Give your where they can find you on Facebook one more time.
Or Abducted in the French Quarter.
Okay, sir. Okay. Well, I want to thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you.
Thanks again.
And you have a great weekend.
You too.
You.
Okay. Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
So things that can go bump in the night, things can go bump in the day. People can be abducted and not even realize it. That is the problem, you know, and it's so many people that have been abducted. Either they don't remember, or if they do remember, they don't go around telling people because they're scared to, because you don't know how your friends or your coworkers are going to accept your story about being abducted. You know, in the next couple minutes, we're going to have like scary stories where you can call in at, let's see what number, at 1-253-203-6681. That's 1-203-6681. That line will be open here in about 3 or 4 minutes. But, you know, I want to say something more. The wall thing, thank God they're not pushing it down every day, every minute like they were here a couple weeks ago on the news. But I do need to say this again, because I really think we need to really not maybe think of the wall so much. We need to think about society breakdown, people's lives, food supply, water, everything. Now, I'm not I'm not one of these people that believe the world's going to come in and you got to survive. But what I'm saying is our grid system is really, really outdated. If we get hit with an EMT or we get hit with a solar flare, you can forget about electricity for a long time. You know, the reason why I say that, we had a power outage here where I'm at 2 weeks ago. We had 2.5 feet of snow, besides losing our internet and the satellite getting wiped out, all this stuff, that the power would come on and then come off for hours at a time. And, you know, the temperature was like pushing 20 degrees. It doesn't take long inside of your house starts getting cold. Imagine without a grid system, you're not going to turn the faucet on and get water. You're not going to go start your car. And if you have even an old outdated car that you can start, how are you going to put gas in it when you run it out of your tank other than go around siphoning? Because you know what? You're not going to be able to go to the gas station and they're not going to be able to pump it. The stores are going to be empty on food within the first hour or two. I experienced that in our snowstorm. All the major stores were sold out of everything within about the first hour because people were panicking. So think of what would happen is we lost our grid system. So we can fix our grid system if we got hit with anything for about $5.6 billion. That's it. That's nothing. I mean, how much money do we spend in this country for other things and we can't fix our grid system? But we want to people want to build a wall to keep the criminals out of this country? You realize with the grid system gone, we're going to have more criminals in this country that you would be in total amazed, like your next door neighbors. When your stomach is just growling because you're so hungry and you got kids, you're going to go out looking for food. And if that means you have to take it from somebody else, you'll get desperate at that point. You will. So why are we pussyfooting around and worrying about the wall or some of this other stuff that's going on and not work on, fixing our grid system? That should be done years ago. It should have been our number one priority. No, it's the roads back a few years ago. We got to fix the roads and bridges. We got to do this and this and this. Come on, people. The grid system. If it goes out, how many people are going to die within a couple of days in the hospital because the generators shut off? Nuclear plants, when they run out of their diesel supply, what's going to happen? Hey, they can't produce any electricity out to the grid system, but they got to keep running and keep it cold. What's going to happen when they run out of diesel? I sure wouldn't want to be in that area, not within a couple 100 miles. So we got all this stuff. We need to concentrate in this country on our own selves. Okay? And that is the grid system. And I think you guys should write a letter to your congressman, to your senator, and say, hey, why are we talking about a wall right now? Yeah, I know we need border security, so don't take me wrong. But before border security, we need to get the grid system safe. Think about it, okay? I don't want to sit here for 3 years with no electricity. I don't want to have to see if I'm one of the lucky ones that survive. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to play a little bit of music. We'll be back, and hopefully we'll have a scary story or two.
Check out Night Dreams' website at www.nightdreamstalkradio.com.
And I am back. You can call 1-253-203-6681, 1-253-203-6681. And hey, let's hear a scary story or two. We need something here tonight. Okay. You called Night Dreams Talk Radio. This is Gary. Who do we have?
Hello, it's James. How you doing, Gary?
How you doing tonight, James?
Not bad, not bad.
I ran out of cigars. You know what that's like? I'm sitting here with a lighter. I smoked 2 cigars tonight. Normally I do 1 cigar. I did 2, one right after the other. And I'm not talking small cigars.
Wow. You're chain smoking cigars now. Of all the nights to catch you when you run out of cigars on a chain smoke.
Well, my wife walked into the studio to give me a bottle of soda. And put it this way, she just shook her head and walked out. And I'll be honest with you, you know, I can't run the air conditioner. I can't open a window because there's no windows in this room. It's all soundproofing, right? And it looked like I was in London and when they're having the major fog. I mean, you could barely see where the door was.
Oh, my goodness. It must look like L.A. at about noon.
Well, I think it looked like L.A. maybe 20 years from now at around noon.
Oh, you had a vision of the future.
Maybe that's what the world's going to be like. You know, that's scary, you know? I'm glad I'm old. You know, I feel bad for my grandkids and my children because they're the ones that's going to have to pay the price that what I did, my father did, and what his father did and his father did to screw up this country and the world. Because I'll tell you, you know, regardless... I don't think these polar caps, ice caps would be melting like they are. I think we've done it with so much of the pollution, running cars, running, you know, all this stuff, you know, dumping all this stuff, pollution in the air for all these years. We're paying the price for it. In fact, the governor of Washington State today declared he is going to run for president of the United States. And the whole thing is it's ecology, global warming, earth changes. And that's what he's going to be running his platform on.
That's his ticket, huh? You know what I see in the future?
Death.
I see that pure oxygen, like in tanks, is going to be the new drug. It's going to be expensive because if the air is all bad, people are going to have oxygen bars. People are going to go in and get a hit of oxygen. And it's the most addictive thing there is. So there's going to be a lot of money in pure oxygen.
It is Japan. That's really popular. You know, they already have those bars.
Oh, is that right?
You can go in there instead of going in there at noon, right, and having a margarita, right? They go in there and they get a couple snorts of pure oxygen.
That is the most addictive thing to the human body. I don't know if people realize that, but I didn't even know they had that in Japan. You know,
I remember my grandfather, right? He died of cancer. The last month he was alive, he was sitting in his recliner with an oxygen tank, right? Having to breathe oxygen, pure oxygen, 24/7. I walked in there one day. He's rolling a frickin' cigarette. Now, he's dying of stomach and lung cancer, right? And he hasn't ate for weeks because he has no appetite, but he's still rolling a cigarette. And he takes out his old, lighter, with where you put the lighter fluid in it, the Zippo lighter. And he's striking it to light his rolled cigarette. And I'm looking at that huge oxygen tank. I'm looking at the hose feeding, his nose, oxygen. And he's, I said, hey, look, I know you, in your health, you're too old for a blowjob. But I'm telling you, you light that lighter and smoke a cigarette with that pure oxygen right there, you're going to blow your whole apartment up.
You know what? My cousin is on oxygen, and he smokes. And 2 days ago, I go over, and because he's got one leg, I have to pick him up and carry him out and put him in the car when him and his wife go to the doctor. I went over there, and he's got a beard. Well, now he's just got, he had a beard and mustache. Now he's just got a beard because it blew up. It burned his mustache off. He looks like an Amishman. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. He's got no mustache. I said, you dummy.
Well, he's lucky. He could have just blown up him and his whole wife. I mean, I don't know how big a tank he had, but I know the tank my grandfather had. It looked like a welding tank size. So it was a good size one, and here this oxygen's going. And you know what? The most combustible thing is the pure oxygen. Yeah,
and people don't realize the oxygen that we breathe is only about 18 to 20% pure oxygen. The rest is nitrogen, is like 78% nitrogen and 2 to 4% other. So you're compared 18 to 20% to 100. That's a big difference.
Oh yeah, but you remember years ago the astronauts and the Apollo, they had it was from oxygen. There was a short or something and it set off their oxygen and it blew them up. They burned up, incinerated.
You better believe it. Oxygen's not a joke. My dad's a welder. I messed around with oxygen for years, and even liquid oxygen. That stuff's it's dangerous stuff. It's not to be played with.
Yeah, so right. And, I'm just wondering how long he was doing that. Of course, he told me he wouldn't do it again, but maybe he was suicidal at knowing, but I don't think so. I think because he was such a chain smoker, I could never figure this out, right? Somebody who's on their deathbed couldn't lay in bed anymore, had to sit up 24/7 in a recliner on oxygen, couldn't eat, but could still smoke like mad.
The only thing I ever seen to top that, I seen a guy, he smoked 3-4 packs of cigarettes a day, and this was about 4 or 5 years ago. He had to end up having a tube in his neck, and he was smoking through the tube in his neck. Yeah, that was the weirdest, most bizarre thing I ever seen. I'll be honest with you, I was a little bit of a shock when I seen it. I got a little PTSD from seeing that, a guy smoking through the tube. I'm like, come on.
A little bit of shock?
Yeah, just a little bit. That's the first time I've ever seen anything like that.
Oh, my God. I don't know. See, I don't smoke cigarettes. When I married my wife 43 years ago, I had to give up smoking because she has asthma. And long as, but it seems hasn't affected her much lately. But I stay in this one room. But of course, when I open the door of the studio, the whole house within 1 minute, guess what it smells like? And especially cigars.
Yep, cigar. Does she carry one of them little like a meat saw or hacksaw to cut her way through the room when she goes in there after you've been smoking 2 cigars?
I think she needed a can of air to blow the smoke away to walk in.
One of them can of air, like an air horn, maybe.
Oh yeah. I got to get one of those tomorrow. I'm not going to tell the people why, but I'm going to get an air horn. I just got that urge. I need an air horn. Not the type you put on a car or a truck. Nope. Or, or a diesel train. I just need a air horn. Like if you went down to the...
Yeah, they got them, the fans take them at the ball games. They blow them all the time.
I need one of those so bad.
You can sneak up behind your wife when she's just kind of nodding off watching her show, put it behind her ear and hit that horn.
I did that one time many, many years ago in one of the businesses we owned. My wife was doing something. She was bent over.
Oh.
And I did.